No shoulding.
Oh, that is the biggest swear word. It's so full of judgment. Oh, I hate that word. As soon as you should on somebody, you tell somebody, oh, you should do this, or maybe you should downsize, or maybe you should. It's laced with judgment, and it puts you in a different position from somebody else, and it doesn't really allow them to fully explore what it is they need to do. So instead, if you do have something that you want to share with somebody financially, what might work is if you say, here's what worked in my experience, and you share from that perspective. That also will really help you learn and grow.
I think when you were upstairs, I hope you told mom that. No more should. Like Joe and OG should get out of my basement. Do not should on us.
That's right.
Please. No, we belong here.
From Joe's mom's basement, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and I think most of us don't tell the people who are on our air quote board of directors that they're on our board. Joe, I know I'm pretty much the chairman of your board, but you've never once told me that I'm on your board of directors.
You have any words, coach, for the team?
Rah, rah, ree. Kick him in the knee. Rah, rah, rass. Kick him in the other knee.
Wow, he has never coached a team in his life.
Go out there and bite him in the kneecaps.
We just got to go out there and play our game, and stick to the fundamentals and just do what we do best. Just focus.
If we score more touchdowns than the other team, we will win, kids. We will win. Let's talk about how we're misusing credit in America.
First of all, people think credit is money. Start there. It's not. The most dangerous thing in my wallet today, Joe, is my American Express Black Card. Because this thing here, and it's sexy, and it looks nice, and it's pretty, there's no limit on it. But that's not even a credit card. This is a charge card, which means in 30 days, I gotta pay the whole balance. A lot of people get in trouble. You start seeing celebrities in their bankruptcies and people who won the lottery, whatever. You see this credit card stuff because they thought this was an extension of their wallet. It's not meant to be an extension on your annual compensation.
Struggling to get my glasses back off. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a live event for the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy, the creator and co-host of Stacking Benjamins. I'm super happy you're here with us. because we have created these wonderful, this right now, one guide, but there will be five guides to help you with your money. One big one that we have now is called your read this before choosing your workplace benefits. And there's so much there. I mean, it's funny, the number of organizations in finance that have done studies that show that you often have all the tools that you need, the very least, most of the tools that you need right in your benefits package through work. And our goal is to help you make the most of those. So if you want to see the actual guide that we're talking about, and let me see if I can figure out how to, they just added this cool thing where I can put it right on screen. Where is it? Is it text? There it is. Look at this. StackyBenjamins.com/benefits. StackyBenjamins.com/benefits is how you get to the guide. You can read more about it. But whether you're going to get the guide or you're not going to get the guide, we're going to do a bunch of things like this here to help you as much as we can. And I was super excited that this gentleman agreed to join us. He's been in the industry for a long time. We met when I was in Omaha, and I'm very happy when he said, you know what, you've talked about a lot of different insurances, optical insurance, of course, super important. And I was glad that he said, yeah, I'll go ahead and go live with you. So let's say hi to him right now. From Omaha, Mr. Delray Gust joins us. How are you, man?
Good.
Well, good to see you again. So what's the temperature in Omaha right now? Is it snowy and super cold?
It's like balmy, like 36 out. I mean, man, all my kids are out in shorts and hoodies. I mean,
that's
of course when it's -10, they're in shorts. So it's all good. It's all good.
But Delray, we always think, because you're in Omaha, like your kids are out back throwing snowballs with Warren Buffett, right? You guys all hang out with Warren every Friday night.
Yeah, Uncle Warren is just up the street here, so right. I'm good.
Perfect. You meet him at Dairy Queen, you know.
Oh yeah. Go to that Dairy Queen all the time, you know.
That is funny. I actually do have a friend, a guy named John, who has a website, The Financial Owl, and he was talking about how he was at a Dairy Queen, and he hears this voice, and he knows the voice, and he turns around, and it is Warren Buffett and Mark Cuban in the very next booth right behind him. And so he actually got his picture with the two of them. It was really, really neat.
Cool.
Yeah. Good stuff.
No, I have no sightings of him at all. So
never have seen him. Yeah.
Nope. I drive by his house literally every day to work, and nope, never seen him.
That's a 1 star. Well, I need a better story. Well, we're going to put you to work right now, my friend, because we're all hoping to do better with our optical insurance. Tina's here with us. She says, somebody without optical insurance, I'd love to learn how to make bifocals more affordable. So we've got one question right there, but let's start off with you, because you have been in this business for a long time. How did you first get excited about and get into the world of optical?
Well, actually, I started working at the different labs. And I started with the Lens Crafters lab and was a lab tech there. And then started working with different people. And one of the first things I did in working there is the Lions Club would do a free giveaway to people. And they do it at Lens Crafters 1 day a year. They shut down Lens Crafters. It's only giveaways on these.
That's cool.
And I dispensed a pair of glasses to this little girl. And her eyes just lit up like she could suddenly see the world. And it really made you go, hey, you know what? I'm helping people, you know? And it's like, and there's so many stories every year that come back. And, you know, I've been in the business now pushing 30 years. But every year I have a few of these stories that pop up, and you're just like, oh, wow, I'm doing this. Okay. You know?
That is fantastic. And as a guy who, well, you know, when I was younger, I had perfect vision. And then I remember I never thought my vision was bad. And then I went to the eye doctor, and he said that, you know, I had trouble seeing objects that were far away. And I got this pair of glasses. And oh my God, all of a sudden the trees look more vibrant again and everything was amazing. And now, ever since I've gotten it, I don't know if it's financial media or just getting older, but between the two of them, I can feel it now where I have trouble reading stuff across the table. Like that farsightedness is coming in, and this gets more and more important to me every year. Let's start off with this, if you don't mind. There's a bunch of jargon, right? In every space, there's a bunch of stuff that the average person does not know. I'm looking at Optical. I'm thinking about my eyesight. I maybe have my benefits package open and I see this whole thing. What are some of the common terms when it comes to eye care that I probably need to know?
The big one is, okay, so you're going to have either people that need for distance correction or are going to need for up close.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, and it's an either or situation until you turn about 40. And then an evil word called presbyopia kicks in.
Presbyopia.
And,
did you just swear at me?
Exactly. Big evil word. That's when people need reading glasses and bifocals. There is no refractive surgery for it. There is nothing that can correct it. It is an eye muscle issue. And so it is, you can have an eye corrected for near vision. You can have an eye corrected for distance vision and walk around the world that way. But there is always a compensation, and it's not pleasant, but so is trying to stand up from a chair after 3 hours of sitting.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
You know? It's the same scenario. It's a different type of muscle that needs to be exercised. The big one is for people like all of us that work on electronic devices, every 20 minutes, look away past 20 feet.
See,
that
that's
trains your muscles, work your muscles out past that.
That's where I think my problem is that I haven't done that. And that's why I can feel like, when I look across the table now and I'm having trouble, I'm like, that's because I stare at a computer monitor that's right here.
Well, and your eye muscles just get locked into that one focal distance.
Yep.
And it's just like trying to stand up from a chair after sitting for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
If somebody has a typical workplace plan, Delray, what are some of the key components of that plan that you usually see?
Well, there are two big companies out there. There are some other smaller ones, but there are two big companies. They happen to own a lot of their own retail establishments.
Okay.
But what the key point to when you look at the benefits package is, what is your frame benefit? That's going to be the basis of most of your plan. And that's also going to be usually anywhere I've seen as low as $80, which are kind of not the good plans. And then the executives I've seen come in from different businesses around here have up to $450.
Is that over what period of time? Is that 1 year, $80 a year for frames?
1 to 2 years.
1 to 2 years for frames. Okay.
Yeah. And some plans are 1, some are 2, but yeah.
Got it. And that'll be different depending on the plan. Now, if I have an $80 plan and my glasses are $250, let's say, these were actually 160. If my glasses are 160, then you're saying my coverage gives me 80, then I've got $80 out of pocket.
Well, it's a little different than that. So an $80 frame coverage would actually, let's say you pick out a $180 frame. Usually in these plans, it'll pay the first $80 and then you get a 20% discount on the difference. So you're out of pocket for the frame is $80.
Gotcha.
So I could do that math. 20% off of 100 is pretty easy.
Yeah, but that's better than I thought. So if I go with, the $400, like you're talking about, like some real designer thing, I'm still getting 20% off the rest.
Yep.
Whatever that may be.
Now,
or have you seen a cap? Have you ever seen a cap?
So this is just only on the frame. And really, the big difference here is, and I'll give you a little bit of backdoor insider stuff. So whenever you look at the plan, you're going to have an in-network benefit and you'll have an out-of-network benefit.
Okay.
That out-of-network benefit is usually what the provider's getting paid for. So if you go to an in-network provider, the provider's check is going to be what your in-network or out-of-network benefits are that you get. Did that make sense?
Gotcha. No, I'm trying to think of how that. Yeah.
So
So
as a patient, if you look at your benefits, you'll have one column on your benefits of in-network benefits
yes.
and one column of out-of-network benefits. That out-of-network benefits is usually what the provider makes from you walking in the practice.
Even if you're in network.
When you're in network, that's what the provider makes.
Gotcha. So that's going to be
So
the,
it's considerably less.
yeah, that'll be the smaller network, but I imagine somebody wants to be in the network because of the fact that they get a volume discount. They're going to get a lot more people coming in the front door.
Right. That's where the provider, basically it turns into marketing for the provider.
Sure. And if you look at the difference in benefits for most of the plans that you see, is the out of network usually half of the benefit? Is it 2/3 of the benefit, or is there any standard thing that you see? Is it all
maybe 10 to 20% of the benefit?
10 to 20% of the benefit. Oh,
yeah.
So it pays big time to stay in network.
Yeah. There's a huge incentive. Usually, like if you have a $100 frame benefit, you're probably looking at maybe getting paid $30 on the frame.
What are the other key components of the plan? Is there an eye check, like an annual eye check that I get for free or very low cost?
Yeah. So the lenses are going to be a copay, and then the options on those lenses are going to be an additional charge. And that's kind of depending on the network and plan. That really, your copay could be, I've seen anywhere from no copay to about $25, $30 on the copay on the lenses.
Okay.
And then the options are going to vary greatly depending on what it is.
But I want to know that that's going to be there probably no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's funny when I was talking about these being $180, I remember the frame itself was a lot less. The lens was actually the bigger part, which I'm sure doesn't surprise you.
Yeah. No, to be honest with you, so back in the good old days, I'll get my rocking chair out on the front porch here. Back in my days when I started, the way that the lenses were made had not changed since the first picture TV tube. It is exactly the same generating process. It was incredible. And I had a background in machining. And so that's where lens crafters really liked me, because these machines were 30, 40 years old at the time. And really, their cost of manufacture is very reasonable in comparison to what they are now. Now I walk into the lab, and I never dreamed I would come to this day, but I walk into the lab, I go, I know what that machine's doing. I don't know how it's doing it, but I know what it's doing.
That's impressive, though. So there's a lot more options than I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. Ever since they came to different digital surfacing on the lenses, instead of the manufacturer would make a finished surface on the front side away from the eye, and we used to be able to grind the prescription on the backside to compensate to it. Well, now they just put this hockey puck of plastic, and the machine generates on both sides and just goes crazy. And different formats, different technologies involved. It is truly amazing, the difference in production. And to be honest with you, that's where the true cost comes from, because you've really limited the lab network across the United States. I think I can name you 15 labs around the Omaha area that have closed. But we're down to one in the Omaha, or two actually in the Omaha area now. So
much more centralized, no matter what eye care person you go to.
Exactly. I mean, and really Omaha used to be a fairly dominant lab business because of its central location in the United States.
When we're looking at lenses, I remember walking into, I don't know, maybe it was a Lens Crafters or someplace back when I was in Detroit. And this woman was talking to me about like different scales of lenses, different types of lenses, some that would have like sunglasses kind of effect on it. Right.
Yep. Transitions. Yep.
Yeah. And then there'd be some that were anti-glare from a computer screen or whatever it might be, just a regular lens. Like there's got to be several different different types. What are the different types of lenses that I would normally choose between when I'm making a decision? And then how do I make the right decision there? Because this woman I remember she was filling me full of information and I had no idea what the right answer was. I will tell you this, I made the wrong one. Like when I got him home, it was not at all what I truly wanted.
Well, and that's where it really is a big thing to go to somebody that not only knows what they're doing, but they've been in the business for a while. Because I wear glasses. That's how I know what I like, and that's what I sell. And that's where your local opticians are going to kind of know that range. The aspect of different materials. So it depends on your prescription. You can get into what's called high index plastic. That'll make them thinner and lighter weight. You also mentioned about transitions. And one of the big advantages nowadays for transitions is transitions blocks blue light. And so you've got both the blue light protection and the transitions involved into it. And then if you get into another thing called extra active transitions, they have a slight gray tint to them when they're clear. They block just as much blue light as the blue light protected lenses, but they go pretty much clear. And that's what's kind of nice that way too. The anti-reflective coatings, those are another thing that have been light year improvements on them. And the one that I heard years ago, go look at a camera. Every camera lens out there is coated with anti-reflective coating. Why? It makes it clearer lens. Why would you get a pair of glasses without it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And most of those anti-reflective coatings come with a 2-year scratch warranty on them. So you really get quite a good benefit out of them that way too.
That was exactly my next question was scratches, because I have scratched me some glasses. I can even see on my day-to-day glasses. I got 2 pairs sitting here, but on my day-to-day glasses, I can see where right here, just because I've set them down so many times, I'm starting to get like a little bit of scratching right here in the middle where I make the stupid mistake and put them down like this.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Those,
and so yeah,
are those?
Those are good hard coatings on them, but it's just, and there's going to be some old timers out there that are older than me that remember the glass lenses, and those would never scratch, but they weigh 4 pounds. Your nose gets relocated down.
Right. Exactly. That's a question. The warranty on the glasses. Do you find those, when you said 2-year warranty, do you find those vary a lot, or is that pretty standard in the industry?
That's relatively standard when you're going to your private practices and even your in-person settings. Most of the time, your online settings have no warranties, and that's what makes them more reasonably priced. You don't know what you don't have until you buy those.
Yeah. What about contact lenses?
So usually, when you get into the vision insurance, the frame benefit and the contact lens benefit are the same. So like if you have $100 frame benefit, they'll pay the first $100 on your contacts. But usually there's not a discount after that.
Okay.
Really, there's the providers that sell contacts are making little money on them. It's not much.
Really? The margins are that thin?
Yep.
On the why is that? Why that doesn't really make sense to me.
Well, it's kind of an interesting factor. So the other day we had a patient come in, and the doctor changed her contact lens prescription. And she wanted to exchange the contacts. She felt it was the doctor's fault for doing it. And she came in with the contacts, showed them to us that she got online. And they were definitely the correct contacts, but they were Asian printed. They weren't in English. So that contacts company.com, they provided contacts that they bought off in another country to then import into America. Are they paying the import, all that good stuff that's on top of it? Where did they come up with this? They're doing some shenanigans that, frankly, we can't do.
Wow. So getting them for low barrel pricing, just bottom of the barrel pricing.
Mm-hmm.
Are there, and then if I have, if I have to have some type of a surgery, like a, from anywhere from glaucoma to whatever it is, or if I want to get LASIK, is that covered in a lot of plans?
It's not usually covered, but there are discounts involved with it.
Okay.
Because most of that stuff goes into your health insurance.
Sure. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good question to ask, I would suppose too, is how much of this will be covered by my health insurance and how much then would rely on eye coverage. Do you see, Delray, any big mistakes that people make with their coverages where they're not taking advantage of this enough, or they're not getting the bang for the buck that they probably could?
The one big one, and it's more of an annoyance than, but what I see is people walking into my practice and going, "I've got vision coverage." Okay, what name is it under? I don't know. I just know I have vision coverage. Well, what company is it with? Well, it's XYZ health insurance company. No. It's got to be a vision plan. And then after much research, we can usually track it down. But that's all on us to try to find your vision insurance. Going through 2 or 3 different companies' websites, going, okay, what's your name? Who are you in this database for? So be sure to know your vision insurance before you come.
It's like you got to be sure. You got to be Sherlock Holmes. Well, this is the thing too. I used to, back when I was a financial planner, I'd have the same problem with disability coverage. I'd say, let's talk about disability. They're like, oh, I'm covered. I got it through work. Tell me what you have through work. No idea. And it turns out their workplace plan was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It didn't cover anything. If they would have gotten in a car accident, they would have found out that this thing that they thought, quote, I've got covered, wasn't covered at all. Know your plan. That's interesting, because at the very least, I don't think I want to know just who the company is. I want to know exactly what we just went through. What are the levels of coverage I have?
Well, and I mean, if I wasn't an honest person, I could just say, oh, you get 10% off. Pay me the rest, Yeah. Because I throw out a number and never file it to an insurance company and just rake in the money. You're just basically saying, here's my wallet. Give me a pair of glasses.
Well, and I have heard, let's talk about this though. How much of a discount do I usually get for vision coverage? Because I've heard from some people, especially with things like dental or pet insurance, that truly paying for it out of pocket is very comparable to getting the package through work. Is it actually worth the flex dollars that we're going to pay to buy it through work? Or should I come talk to a person like you to go, here's my coverage, here's this? What's the difference going to be?
That's the one. Basically come talk to us, because basically we can come up with some different alternative ideas, or say, basically between the price that you're paying into the vision insurance plus what your employer is providing in usually equals what you would pay as a self-pay patient.
So your discount is just whatever your company is going to bring to the table.
There's an intrinsic value to all these products, and
sure,
you're going to pay it some way,
Yeah. Yep. No, that is interesting. So I would guess then, and I'm sure this isn't the case across the board, but if you work for a small company, chances are your company's probably putting in very little. They're just offering it as a quote perk, but truly going directly through you isn't going to be much different, I would imagine. But a bigger company may have the wherewithal, not guaranteed, but may have the wherewithal to maybe 50% or 30% of the cost.
Cut something into that. Yep.
Yeah.
It really depends on the plan. It's really.
Yeah. And that's great. Going to you and going, hey, if I just bought this from you versus had this coverage, what's my cost difference? There is no cost difference. Well, then why would I spend my flex dollars on that program versus on something else like better disability coverage or something? The specialty services, blue light glasses, vision therapy, are those ever covered?
discounts, basically.
Okay.
Discounts, not completely covered. Vision therapy, there's a couple different methods inside there. And then also you get into some of the dry eye treatments too. You're starting to get into that line of, is it a vision coverage or is it health insurance coverage?
Okay.
All depends on severity of that way.
Is but typically, do you see them or not, that those things are covered?
I've never seen them covered.
Yeah. Let's talk
The
about
one I see, the one I do see covered, and this is going to be, I don't know if it's even going to be anybody in the Stacking Benjamins space. It's less than probably 3 to 5% of the U.S. population, but it's a type of eye disorder that the cornea is all kinds of different shapes on it, and you need a set of contacts that will actually form it like braces on teeth.
Oh.
So glasses will not correct your vision. This is a condition that you have to have this type of contact, and it's expensive. It's about a $1,500 contact, and only 2 or 3 labs in the country make it. That will be covered under a medical necessity contact through the vision insurance, some plans. And so if you happen to have a vision disorder called keratoconus, another big word, that is usually covered under medical necessity.
Wow.
So that's a really low level. The other one that's getting kind of weird in vision plans is the vision plans are starting to pick up if you have if you're on certain diabetic drugs, or if you've had diabetes run out of control, the vision plan can cover part of your diabetic retinopathy follow-ups.
Nice.
But that's certain plans. But it's weird because then it's not going to be covered by your health insurance. So you can't see an MD for it, but you're going to see an OD for it, which is a little different. Another type of terms that are getting in there. So it's a little different. And then if you're really bad vision and you have, well, I shouldn't say really bad, but if you're getting down there and you need low vision services, that also is now showing up on different vision plans, where before it was handled by Medicare and health insurance. It's usually for your older folk.
What about for the kids in the family?
Kiddos, I really don't mind getting, my big key is have somebody take measurements. You look at, there's a certain website, it's called Warby Parker. Yeah. And I don't mind them being in existence as a brick and mortar, because at least they have somebody there to take measurements. Now, you're not going to get the same type of warranties you get from your regular practice, but they are going to be more reasonably priced, because I know kids are just going to go through glasses like water.
They're going to do that thing that I talked about. Putting these face down. They're going to put them face down on the desk. They're going to kick them around. Yeah. That's funny. So I do like that though. So save money by using some of the discount places for children.
And the first round of, get a good reputable exam done through somebody, and then you're probably going to be going through many pairs of glasses with kids. It's just the thing.
I am, we're getting down to the end of the year. Some people have these flex spending dollars, right? What's eligible for flex spending dollars? If I come in and I need to brighten my holidays by loading up on stuff because I haven't spent all my flex spending dollars.
Well, if your holidays are so bright that you need to wear shades, they better be prescription. But anything prescription product will be covered. So if you're trying to get an over-the-counter sunglass, it's not going to be covered. But if it's anything with a prescription in it, will be covered by the flexible spending or health savings accounts, whichever way you want to go.
Is there a limit to the number of? I mean, I've seen sometimes people have come to me and they've got just tons of money left, like for whatever reason they didn't spend all their flex dollars. Can I really load up on my contacts if I have contacts?
Contacts wise, you're limited to just ordering a year's supply. And that's where the doctor does expire the prescriptions, and there's very good reasons for it. And I could show lots of pictures of ugly eyes that have overworn contacts.
Oh.
and that is where the doctor needs to see you back every year. I know it sucks, but it's something that is important because you could start getting a corneal ulcer, and those types of things, when they heal, things like keratoconus, like I mentioned earlier, are the results.
That was my question. Once a year is when we want to do the eye exam.
Well, and once a year when you're in contacts, every 2 years for glasses.
For everybody else. Okay. That's fantastic. What if I don't have glasses? I mean, do I still go every other year? Every few years?
I would go every other year, period. I know too many people that all of a sudden they're walking around, they go, when I look off to the left, I can't see anything.
That was me.
And
I mean, it wasn't looking off to the left. It was that far away. And I didn't even notice it until somebody put glasses on me. And I went, holy cow.
Well, it's diseases like macular degeneration that comes in, and your vision just tunnels down, but it's so gradually, you don't notice it until it's really quite bad. And that's where you need to see the doctor. That kind of stuff, early detection is the key to all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like anything health related.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
treat your eyes well. You need them. I was going to ask about that. We interviewed Neil Massimino, the astronaut, maybe about a year ago. And he was disqualified from being an astronaut because of his vision. And then he went to this doctor and he was able to do something most people don't do, which is he was able to actually strengthen the muscles in his eyes. And that was actually a question I had for you, which is, I stare at the screen all day. I don't look away enough. And so I'm wondering if I can get that back. Like, are there things I can do to re-strengthen my eyes like Neil Massimino did, or is he kind of an outlier?
It's more of an outlier. And
don't tell me that. Tell me there's stuff I can do. That's not what I want to hear. Next guest.
Well, I haven't found I haven't found the fountain of youth. That's the one that we need.
1 star, man.
No, more or less there are the people that can actually see out in the distance and need more help up close, but not because of presbyopia. They can actually physically make their eyes kind of focus at different levels and really work that through. That's one. And then there's also vision therapies out there where they put gas permeable contacts on you, kind of reform the eye. It works for a while. It's all good stuff. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's not for everybody,
Yeah. And to your point earlier, you're still battling age.
Yeah. I mean, it's all age related problems.
Sure. Tina was talking about not having optical insurance for our stackers out there that don't have insurance and maybe don't make a lot of money. Are there any programs out there, any community programs, any ways that we can, maybe I'm not eligible for those giveaways that you opened up with, but man, if there was a discount program through X thing, are any of those available for people of certain income needs?
Well, not really. Unfortunately, it's basically if you don't fall into a Medicaid, make too much money for Medicaid, or make too much money, you're in that range of like the rest of us where groceries are killing us right now, that type of scenario. But a lot of your smaller practices, they might have some different options. And I've got some more reasonably priced frames. We have some different, call it just like plain label ketchup in the store. Some no brand name progressive lens. It's more reasonably priced. It's not as cheap as what anybody wants, where it's,
sure,
I just want to pay $10, a cheap $10 reader. Don't get me wrong. But we've really struggled trying to keep a price range that is for everybody. And in the setting I'm in, we really do see everybody because we see everything from doctors to the poor of the poor, so it's just that type of scenario, so I try to get a package around for everybody, but it does hurt a little bit when you just can't get everybody pleased,
Are there ever times, I'm just trying to think if there ever is, if I ever see around town like lens sales or, times when it's a good time to go, like, buy your mattress on President's Day, right?
Yeah.
Because that's
Exactly. Yeah, not too much, just because the insurance companies stop us from doing that.
sure.
Because if we file anything to Medicare, you have to, I think it's like 3 years. Anything that you file to Medicare, we have to give them the lowest price. So if we do a 50% off sale, we're filing to Medicare 50% off for 3 years.
Yeah, that's why I can't remember seeing it then, is because it's
Yeah.
got to stay uniform. That makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. Well, that is super, man. This is so helpful, I think, for so many people. Most of us don't understand you can tell by my questions, I don't understand optical coverage. A lot of people don't understand optical coverage. I was a financial planner for a long time, and this is an area that's kind of an outlier for me. This and dental, seriously, very much an outlier. And that is super helpful. I just wish you'd answered the question about, can I get it back better? But besides that, I think it's great. What did I forget to ask you? Were there any big points that you had that we didn't talk about?
No, I want to reiterate, measurements count. A human taking your measurements, and we're gonna actually get a gadget, and there's many practices out there that have these gadgets, and they'll take your picture, and the image it comes out with will measure up your centers, your pupils, everything. It is quite cool, and it's just so important to have somebody trained in this business to help make your glasses. Because
Versus
I
these
don't even pick
clunky
online place.
Yeah.
Because I don't even pick out frames for our board here. Our selection of frames, we have reps come in. I pick out physical frames. I don't even pick them out online. I don't know how anybody could.
I tried to pick them online once, and they were asking me the distance between my pupils. And I'm like, how the hell am I going to measure the distance between my pupils? Like, how am I going to do that at my house? And then they gave me a way to do it. And I had to have a second person. Cheryl had to, and I was like, I just want to talk to a person. Just please.
Yeah. I don't understand the concept of going that way. It's so much better. And you've got somebody that'll stand behind those measurements. So if something happens, Dell went crazy. You came over his lunch hour and he was hungry. He messed up. We'll make it right. You know?
You'll make Dell's Reuben sandwich experience, and you can fix it. Yeah, we're online. It's a whole different deal. By the way, on that same online place, I also went and I started asking some questions, and it was clear that the person that they'd hired did not really work for the company. They knew nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, they knew very, very little. It was surprising, the lack of depth.
Yeah, no, and I strive to keep, so our lab is a local Omaha lab. I figure if they are paying the same taxes I do, as most know, Nebraska is not the best tax state. If they're paying the same taxes I do, I should give them the business.
Well, for you too, though, they're close by. If you've got a question, you can actually talk to them. They're right there.
It's not the quickest way home, but I could definitely drive right there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Del, thanks a ton for hanging out with us tonight. I super appreciate the time and your expertise. And thank you for, taking just a little bit of that 30-year career and enlightening us on how this all works.
Oh, sure enough. And thank you for having me on. And I thank you for all the years of shows I've never learned anything on.
Perfect.
It's been entertaining. It's been entertaining. You know?
And now you've contributed to more people learning nothing. So congratulations.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Guys, all this stuff, I mean, we're going to leave this up on YouTube, but if this is also going to be included in our guide, if you want the guide, I'm going to put it on the screen one more time. You want to check it out here at the end of the year. Here's the deal with our Stacking Benjamins guides. You pay for it once. We update it every month. In fact, next week as we record this, the December update, including optical insurance, is going to be in the guide. Every month we update it. It gets better and better. You pay one time. You download it as often as you want. The average person changes jobs every 3.2 years. The average company is going to change your benefits about every 5 years. So that will change. And if your company doesn't mess with it and you stay at the same employer, the government changes it, because there was no such thing as a Roth IRA or Roth 401k when I started. Flex savings, that, there was flex savings, but there wasn't an HSA. the world changes. And as it changes, we will change the guide. As long as we have the guide, you will continue to get it for that one price. The price will go up over time for new people, but not for you. So stackingbenjamins.com/benefits. I'll put it on the screen one more time. If I can figure out how to do this, Del. Look at that. Wow. I feel like a pro putting that up. You guys have no idea how little I know about this. All right. He's Del. I'm Joe. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. Hope your holidays are bright, everybody. Bye-bye. And that was it. Wasn't that easy?
Oh, it was easy.
That was easy.